what's happening, Bengals fans? Welcome to Inside the Jungle postgame right here at CincyJungle.com. Hey, the Bengals moved to 3-0 on the year with a big win over the Tennessee Titans. There's a lot to discuss this week. The passing game wasn't great. The running game was, and as usual, the defense was spectacular. But your Bengals are now 3-0 to start the year. I want to hear from you, though, Bengals fans. 404-946-3397 is the number to call, or you can also get in touch with us via Skype if you're outside the country. Let's kick things off with John from Kentucky. John, what's happening, man?
Hey, Nick, you know what? It appears that even with Jones, Eifert, and Burfict on the bench, the Bengals are so deep. They're so much better coached, it appears, this year from the offensive coordinator. Appears to me that it doesn't much matter who the Bengals have playing. They're a pretty good team, at least against teams like, Tennessee at home. I don't think the Bengals have a lot to worry about, no matter who's hurt and who isn't. I'm looking at the rest of the schedule. We've got this bye coming up. New England, they've got a Monday Night Football game to play, and then they've got Cincinnati coming in. So I think the Bengals have a very good chance of winning the game. But I still think it's a big test for them. They've got to do what they did today. They've got to do it on the road. We've got to see that in prime time. But nevertheless, we just set a club record today, didn't we, with regular season home wins. Is that right?
That's right. The 11th straight win at home in the regular season is a new franchise record, so they are record breakers. And this team is rolling at home, man.
They certainly are, yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll be calling him Wednesday. I need to talk to Mickey again. I'm going to take him up on that playoff deal. He said I could sit beside him. I would definitely do that. And if they win that playoff game, I'm going to come back to the AFC Championship if it's in Cincinnati with my son. And I promise to return under those circumstances for sure.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, the team is definitely, they're back, they're better, and they look better coached than they did last season. That's all I can say. So I'll let some other people talk now, man, okay?
Appreciate the call, John. Hooday.
Right,
That's John getting us started here on Inside the Jungle postgame. Let's hit up the Skype line, though. Mike Vardy, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Hooday.
Hooday.
Oh, man, what a clinic today.
A defensive clinic for sure. You and I kind of talked about it on Twitter this afternoon. I was so close with my bold prediction in a shutout. It didn't happen, but hey, you know what? This defense was outstanding.
It was, and the offense was really. I mean, the Dalton did what he had to do. I think that people are going to really look at what he's been doing over the past few weeks. I mean, he's not putting up huge numbers, but he's managing the game effectively. And I think what's going to happen is, as the season progresses, defenses are going to underestimate what he can do with throwing the deep ball like he did last week, and just. I mean, we're seeing a lot of great stuff with that offense too, and they're just starting to warm up.
Yeah, you talked about Dalton, and though it wasn't a spectacular day as far as yardage goes, but he still managed to complete 15 out of 23. He did have the one interception, which you can forgive considering it was a bad pass to Bernard on a screenplay that bounced off his hand. You don't like that inside your own red zone, but at the same time the defense held, and they didn't get any points off of that turnover, so that was helpful. But he wasn't at his best, but he didn't have to be.
No, and the running game, I mean, I'm hoping that they, again, I think they really need to start running the ball a bit more, and if they start doing that, I mean, they're looking good already. This team is dangerous. Fatal Content mentioned that on the Twitter as well. It's like no one wants to face this team right now, and yeah, we look really good, and having a week off to rest up and get better. Oh man, I can't wait to see what we do when we go into New England, because that's going to be a real, not just a test, but also it's going to serve notice, I think, to the rest of the league.
Yeah, is this team for real? That's the question, and everybody's going to look at the competition that they've played so far, and though it hasn't been spectacular, I still firmly believe that this 3-0 start is more impressive than any of the other three. If anybody else goes 3-0, I think Denver may have a chance tonight if they beat Seattle. I don't know. I'm impressed, considering when you think about they lost both of their coordinators in the offseason, and you can make the argument that they're better off for it.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, the groundwork's been laid for that defense, and Gunther's doing a great job with it, and Hugh Jackson's just doing some really interesting things. I mean, sinew to Dalton. Come on. We haven't seen that in what? A quarterback hasn't done that in the league for, what they're saying, 6 years, I think, and, I mean, it's the first time it's happened in Bengals history. So, man, it's just this team's exciting to watch, and I can't wait to see what they do when they get to Foxborough in a couple weeks.
Well, hopefully Tom Brady and that offensive line gears up for the blitz because Gunther's going to bring it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I'll let you go and get some more callers in, but just a great game today, a great win, and hooday.
Hooday. Thanks for the call, Mike. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers. That's Mike Vardy on the Jungle Line giving us a ring. Let's go to area code 210. Hi, who's this?
Hey, this is James from Korea. I've got one important question.
All right.
Am I in before the John from Kentucky Kirkpatrick rant?
John called in, but he did not make a rant about Dre Kirkpatrick, believe it or not.
Really?
He did not.
I think I owe a bookie some money somewhere.
Well, thankfully that happened after the game was over.
Okay, yeah. The thing that I just don't know about this team is I don't know how they're going to decide who to put in on offense once everybody's healthy. I mean, when Bernard's in, you want Hill. When Hill's in, you want Bernard. And, I mean, they're going to have Eifert, Marvin Jones, Mohamed Sanu, A.J. Green. You just want to put in 14 players on offense. It's ridiculous.
It is a good problem to have, but at the same time, I see your point. And the good news is, too, when you think about it, they've got players on this team that aren't selfish and aren't me guys and they're team guys, which at the end of the day, they just want to win.
Oh, no, I'm definitely not complaining, but it's going to be really hard for Hugh Jackson to just, juggle everybody. It's ridiculous. I wasn't around for the Super Bowl team out in Vipers in 1990, but this is definitely the best total team I've ever seen in the Bengals field. It's not even close.
Yeah, from an all-around team area, I would agree with you 100%. This has been the best team I've seen in quite a while. I know 05 was a really good team too, but 88 was a great team. But I want to get back to your point about all the different weapons on offense. If you think Hugh Jackson's going to have problems, what about the opposing defensive coordinators? Who are you going to stop? That's the real question.
Yeah, I don't know how you game plan for them. I really don't. I mean, they've got 3 games of tape on Hugh Jackson, and it's just like it seems like every couple of weeks from now on they're just going to get an offensive player back from injury.
Yep.
I don't know how you game plan for that.
Well, let's hope they keep struggling with it.
Yep.
Well, hey, I appreciate the call.
I was getting shades of like the '90s Bengals from those Titans today.
Say that again. You cut out a little bit.
Yeah, I was getting shades of like 1990s Bengals from the Titans today.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. But you know what? I'm glad that we got past that after that lost decade, and we're firing on all cylinders right now. That's all that matters.
Yep.
All right, I got to run. I got more calls to get to. Appreciate the call.
Sure. I'll see you.
Hooday. Let's go. Area code 443. Hi, who's this?
This is Keegan from Maryland. How you doing?
Hey, Keegan. What's up, man?
I just like to talk about the game. That was a pretty good game. Dominated the Titans. And but the only thing my concern is, I mean, when you get down the line to some of the better teams, they're gonna have to start converting in the red zone.
Yeah, I agree. And you're right. We haven't exactly played a quality opponent yet. And I guess the true measuring stick is going to come in 2 weeks and see what this team does on the road in New England in prime time. And a lot of the national media, they're going to spend the next couple of weeks saying that the Bengals are great and put them up on this high pedestal. And then hopefully, let's knock on wood that they don't go and lay an egg up in Foxborough. But I think we'll get a better sense of where this team is when they play New England in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think so too. But we have a tough schedule coming up. I think we can win the majority of the games.
Hey, you got to take it one game at a time, and they're 3-0, which is fantastic. I couldn't even tell you off the top of my head the last time that they were 3-0. We'll just take them as we can get them. So yeah, okay, 06. Yeah, there you go. It's been a while. It's been 8 years. So hopefully they keep it going and they win in New England in a couple weeks.
All right, we're done.
Appreciate the call, Keegan.
All right, thanks.
Hooday. Jungle Line is open. 404-946-3397 is the number to call. You can get in touch with us via Skype as well inside the jungle. Again, just looking over some of these statistics from today. Andy Dalton, 15 of 23 for 169 yards. He did have the one interception, but hey, he caught a touchdown pass. That's pretty spectacular, though he probably shouldn't have, and it probably should have been a pick six the other way. But thankfully, thankfully that bounce went the Bengals' way. Again, Mohamed Sanu with a completion. He's now 4 for 4, and the Bengals are 4-0 when he has completed a pass. So there's a nice little omen there. Bernard and Hill, they had 21 carries between the two of them, and they rushed for 86 yards. Bernard had 47, and Hill had 39. I believe that's the most updated statistics I have. From a passing game standpoint, we saw A.J. Green cross over the 100-yard barrier. He had 6 catches for 102 yards. Mohamed Sanu, 5 catches for 44. Again, the passing game wasn't spectacular. You could tell the elements, the weather elements, had a little bit to do with it. I think the wind wreaked a lot of havoc in the passing game, depending on which way you were going. But when you can't throw the ball through the air, you got to be able to move it on the ground, which they were able to do pretty effectively as well. Let's welcome in Fatal Content here on Inside the Jungle postgame. Fatal, what's on your mind, bud? It would help also if I unmuted your microphone. Let's try this again. Fatal, how you doing, man?
What's going on, man? 3-0, man. That's what's on my mind, man.
3-0, and it's feeling pretty good, isn't it?
It is, man. I won't lie, man. I thought we'd be successful and keep the ball rolling and possibly improve without the two coordinators, because these two coordinators were just as good and if not better, at least in Hugh's case. And man, they've actually even passed those expectations, at least in the early parts of the season. I mean, we were blitzing when we were up, 33-7, and it was still bringing the pressure at the right time. And it's like if they can't answer to it, then keep bringing it. It was just impressive to see that.
I love that, and it's not something we saw a whole lot under Mike Zimmer, but I love seeing the all-out blitz, and I love seeing the extra pressure that Gunther is bringing, bringing these extra guys. Now, a lot of it has to do with the fact that they just can't get to the quarterback with the front four like they used to be able to. But now you see, and I think it puts the pressure on the quarterback to make the right decision. And we saw it a couple times today where Jake Locker made bad decisions, poor throws when the blitz was in his face. And, I think that's great when you can do that to the opposing quarterback.
Exactly, yeah, and the best part about it is I've heard numerous announcers, it's not even one or two, I've heard numerous announcers say that the front four and the pressure gets a lot of credit for making the DBs look better, but you know what, man, those DBs, they're being trusted with a lot of work, and it's like they're all working in unison, man, they're all balling, and it's insane. I mean, they're even just putting us up there with the Legion of Boom in terms of it's a discussion of whose is better, and it's insane.
And I didn't realize this leading into the game, but I didn't know that the Bengals defense was ranked 25th in the NFL, which is very surprising. And what that tells me, though, is that they're giving up a lot of yards, but when it comes time to getting into the red zone, they're not giving up touchdowns, and they're holding teams to field goals. And then we saw today the Titans missed 2 field goals.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we saw. It was impressive. It's hard to pinpoint something that's faulty about this game, but we were just strong in every asset, man. I mean, we had a discussion a few weeks ago. I'm trying not to take up too much time, but we had a discussion a few weeks ago about who's more important, A.J. Green or Vontaze Burfict. And right now you're seeing that without Vontaze, the defense is still rolling, and even with a nicked up A.J., and other numerous injuries, the offense is still rolling. That shows you how scary this team is. The fact that we had the discussion and the clock. I mean, we still keep rolling, and you really almost don't miss those guys.
Well, yeah, I agree. We almost don't miss them, but I think it would have been good to see Vontaze out there. There were a couple instances today in the run game for Tennessee where they were able to get that sideline sealed off, and they were able to get some pretty good gains on the ground. When you look at the total numbers today for the Titans, from a rushing standpoint, they rushed for 150 yards on 30 carries, and yet they only managed 7 points. I mean, that's poor red zone play by the Titans, and good red zone defense by the Bengals as well.
Yes, it was. You hit the nail on the head, man. I just wondering if if there's anyone in the AFC that you're worried about, man, at all, based on, I know it's early, but based on your opinion.
Depends on where the game's at. If it comes down to the AFC Championship game, Fatal, and that game's in Cincinnati, and Denver's got to come to town in the cold, I'll take my chances against Peyton Manning.
Yep. Definitely would, man. But great show, man. Thanks for letting us call in and get our words in, man. And this team is really impressing us, man. And shout out to Andy Tron, man, with the touchdown catch, man. You look like Mega out there.
Andy Tron, I love it, man. Hey, talk to you on Wednesday night, Fatal.
All right, man. Shout out to everyone in the chat room, man. You guys take it easy.
You too, man. Let's go to Mike Smith across the pond in the UK. Mike Smith, how you doing, man?
I'm good, mate. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. You're up late, watched the game. What are your thoughts?
It's not too late. It's about 9 o'clock. Just 2 words to you, mate. This defense, it's just absolutely, it's brilliant, isn't it? We don't even need Vontaze to keep the pressure up. We're just playing fantastic football at the moment. Bit of a shame there's a bye week next week, but personally, I'm off to the International Series game next week, so I don't have to worry about the Bengals while I'm watching that game. But it's a bit of a pity, really, because we've got some great momentum going. But I'm going to say this: no fear about going into New England in Week 5, though. No fear at all.
Well, I can understand. You don't want the bye week to happen now, considering they are on a roll. But when you consider all the injuries they got too, I think the bye week probably couldn't have worked out better for this team.
Yeah, as a caveat, if it means that AJ and Vontaze Burfict are going to recuperate and get a bit and get fully fit for down the stretch, then yeah, that is a good thing. It's also great to see that we could also put in the second string lineup in towards the end of the game, although they didn't exactly cover themselves in glory, but bear in mind the damage had been done to Tennessee by then. I haven't been tuning into the show. Internet's a bit ropey tonight, but what's been the general feeling on the Dalton interception?
Well, to be honest, we haven't really discussed it a whole lot. It hasn't even really been brought up.
Just me to put a downer on.
Well, and I kind of touched on it. I kind of touched on it and said, it was kind of a fluke thing, kind of a behind Bernard pass that it just kind of took a bad deflection and it was a bit unlucky, but at the end of the day, the turnover when it occurred, it didn't result in any points for the Titans as they turned it right back over. So though you don't want to turn the ball over late in the first half in your own red zone, it didn't bite them.
Yeah, at least Dalton, he's not making those. I suppose those throws he was synonymous for last season, where he'd throw it deep and literally the safety would be there. It's like he hadn't read it at all. It wasn't that kind of interception. If anything, yeah, he threw it a little bit high, but then Gio did Gio have not much business really trying to make the catch. Fair play to him trying to do it, but he was probably never going to catch the ball anyway. But speaking of interceptions, George Iloka, he's turned it round. I think he's like Paul Genter. He's found a new safety. He's fantastic. He's been brilliant. I mean, the guy's playing at a Pro Bowl caliber level at the moment, and he's become like, well, since Vontaze has been out, he's been really, him and Pac-Man have been real cornerstones to this defense. It's brilliant. It's brilliant play. Just out of curiosity, did the team say anything more about Vontaze and how long he's going to be out for? It's been 2 concussions in 2 weeks, but has anything been said yet by the coaches or anything?
No, not that I'm aware. I'm sure that what they're going to do is they're going to continue to keep him in that concussion protocol until he's he's fully cleared. I think that's another reason why the bye week couldn't come at a better time. You give him another week's worth of rest and prevent him from getting any more injuries on that head of his, because this defense is pretty good, and when you add him to the mix, it just becomes lights out. No pun intended.
Yeah. Just got a question. Just throw it out to yourself and to all the other callers and the listeners. We all know that Seattle and the NFC at home are pretty much unbeatable. Can the same now be applied to the Bengals, but for the AFC?
Oh, that's a good question, and they've gone 11 games in a row now without without a loss at home. It's getting there, but when we can get that streak up into the higher teens and maybe the low 20s, then maybe I'll consider it, Mike. Maybe, just maybe.
Maybe. Okay then. I mean, the way I see it, yeah, the Chargers beat us in the playoffs at PBS last season. I would probably put that more down to, we all know what happened there. I won't drag us down any further, but it is getting to the point where I think we are like. Do you remember when the Patriots just couldn't lose at home?
Yep.
Like during the 2000s. I mean, we're doing it without the officials' help, which is which is even better. But I think we're getting to that point now where it's arguably harder for us to lose now than it is for us to win. And there's just so much character about this team. Like Dalton himself, nothing phases the guy. He is just like he's got like veins of antifreeze. I don't know what. He's just brilliant. He's just, he's, as far as I'm concerned, he's answering all his critics. I mean, do you remember when he got his new contract? It was like all the critics, and this is, I'm talking to you, Dave Damashek. The amount of heat you put on him on Twitter, and he's come right back and answered you. And I just, New England, yeah, in 2 weeks' time, but the Steelers game, mate. I said this before. It's all about that Steelers game. All about the Steelers game, and I think then the rest of the league, sits up and listens to us.
Well, let's just take it one game at a time. We'll play the Patriots in a couple weeks, and hopefully we'll see how things progress. Appreciate the call, Mike.
It's hard, man. We're playing this sport. It's hard not to get excited.
I know. It's hard, but one game at a time. I got to go. I got some other folks I got to get to. Mike, appreciate the call.
No worries, mate.
Houday from across the pond. Love talking to Mike Smith. 404-946-3397 is the number to call. Again, if you're outside of the country, you want to get in touch with us via Skype, you can as well. Area code 513. Hi, who's this?
This is Mike Hudson Sucks.
Mike Hudson Sucks. What's up, man?
I'm sitting here. I'm wondering how early in the season we can be considered to be in control of our own destiny.
Well, that's a good question. And let me check the scores here because last I saw Cleveland, they ended up losing to Baltimore. Wow. I was going to say we had to win to keep pace with the Browns. But no, I'd say yes, they have I think it's early, Mike, but I see what you're saying. But, what I want to see from this team, though, is to go into New England and just put a smacking on them.
Uh-huh. Well, I had another question. I'm just wondering how you feel like this defense is coming up and how well it's missing the production of Michael Johnson with his total 6 tackles.
I had a feeling you were going to bring up Michael Johnson.
They're coming up with that production. I don't see it.
I had a feeling you were going to bring up Michael Johnson. Yeah, apparently Mike shared the link with me this week about the Bucs fans already calling Michael Johnson a bust. And, yeah, he signed a pretty big contract in Tampa. But at the same time, I think and we've seen it with the injuries, too, with this team, Mike. Next man up. And I know Marcus Hunt ended up getting hurt there at the end of the game. But Rather Gathers, a lot of us on this show, you said during the offseason that maybe he shouldn't be around. Well, thank God he is.
I also went and looked up the stats on Andrew Hawk, and he's doing a little better in Cleveland, but he would definitely be farther down our depth chart. He's got 14 catches for 157 yards after 2 games. Apparently they don't have his stats up for Baltimore yet, or he didn't play today.
No, I think he did, but I don't know what his stat line is. But you're right, he would still be your 3rd or 4th option here in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And I think he's maybe the 2nd, maybe even sometimes the 1st option.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you guys go. I'll let you take another call, but Houday.
Appreciate the call, Mike. The jungle line is open, 404-946-3397. I know we've had a bunch of people try to call in and get in touch. If the phone doesn't, if I don't pick up the phone, please keep calling. We will answer as many calls as we possibly can during the program. Area code 804. Hi, who's this?
Hi, this is Travis from Virginia.
Hey, Charles from Virginia. What's on your mind tonight?
I just bought I bought tickets to the Bengals Steelers game. It's my first NFL game I'll ever go to, and I'm really excited.
Well, you picked a good one to go to, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a good win. I know it's going to be a win. My first NFL game is not going to be a loss for the Bengals. I'm very excited.
That's awesome. So who are you going to take with you?
My friend, he's a Tampa fan. We're originally supposed to go to Tampa to see Tampa versus Bengals, but since Tampa is really bad this year, he decided I don't even want to go, so we're going to go to Cincinnati. We're going to go to Cincinnati because it's a week after the Tampa game.
I don't know, man. That weather in Tampa might be a little bit nicer.
Oh, it's definitely going to be nicer, but I'd much rather see a home game. Much rather see a home game.
Oh, I can understand
I live
that.
in Virginia, and it's going to be our first NFL game. I'm so excited.
Well, awesome. That's fantastic. Well, hopefully we hear from you again before that. And I know Mickey on our podcast, he's got season tickets. Maybe he'll be down there, and we'll get something figured out.
I hope I get to see Mickey. Maybe hang out with him during the tailgate or anything. I'm sure there will be a bunch of Bengals fans that we get to hang out with, but I would love to hang out with Mickey.
Well, we'll be in touch. All right, Charles?
Absolutely.
Who dey?
Travis.
I'm sorry, Travis. It's hard. I'm doing the best I can with these phones. Travis, congratulations on going to your first game, and hopefully we'll hear from you again. All right, man?
All right,
who dey? Let's see. The jungle line's open. 404-946-3397 is the number to call. I kept calling him Charles, but I meant Travis, so I apologize, Travis. A lot of Bengals fans excited, as they should be. This team is 3-0, and and holding their own here in the AFC. The national, like I said earlier, the national media is starting to pick up on this team, and I believe Sports Illustrated had them ranked number 1 on their power rankings. I don't see why that would change after today, unless Denver does something absolutely drastic to Seattle in Seattle, but I don't see that happening. Mike Greenberg from Mike and Mike on ESPN, he tweeted out today something along the lines of the Bengals being the best team in the NFL right now. And it's hard to argue. I mean, this team is doing it on all phases. And, and Tom Buell mentioned this in the chat room. This defense bends, but it doesn't break, which is absolutely what you want with, you don't want to give up too many yards. But what's happening is when the teams are getting into the red zone or getting, into the green area, as some coaches call it, they're not getting points. And they were able to hold the Titans to 2 field goal attempts today, and their kicker missed both kicks. But even if he makes both of those kicks, I don't think it really matters in the end when you look at the final scoreline. No. Area code 401. Hi, who's this?
Hello.
Area code 401. You're on the air.
Yeah, this is Donovan. Donovan from Rhode Island.
Hey, Donovan from Rhode Island. What's up? There's Bengals fans in Rhode Island? You're crazy, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just moved up here from Cincinnati, so not really.
All right, fair enough. What did you think of today's game, man?
I mean, to be honest, it was everything I wanted it to be. Like, the Titans didn't even have a chance once they stepped on the field, and you could just tell that the Bengals were overall the best. Like, there wasn't even, any competition. And I know people or the media is going to look at Dalton stats so far and say, well, he's just a game manager. That's probably one of the worst terms in all of football vernacular. Because if you're a quarterback in the NFL, team is as good as the Bengals is, there's no way you can just be a game manager. You have to be the leader on offense, and you have to be on point with everything you do, and that's what I thought Dalton was today. I mean, he doesn't have the greatest stats in the world, but that doesn't mean he isn't like a franchise quarterback like he actually is. And that's the thing about Dalton. People say, oh, he's got this feeling that he's just going to be okay. But I don't really see that, because if you look in history, it's around this time that the quarterbacks usually start becoming great. And I think Dalton can be great, like Drew Brees and Peyton Manning and all that stuff. But he just has to have time to prove it. And the last thing I want to point out was the defense, man. that doesn't even make sense how good we are on defense. I know we're ranked 26th, but that stat is just like all sorts of misleading. I think we do have the second best defense next to Seattle, and possibly better, especially in the secondary. Like George Iloka, I knew he was going to be great. So, all in all, I just think this Bengals team is going to probably, if they keep playing like this, they're probably going to just roll right into the Super Bowl because there's not really much competition in the AFC. New England sucks, and Denver's just average compared to what they were last year.
I guess we'll find out here in a couple of weeks when the Bengals go on the road and they take on the Patriots. But when you look at today, you know, the Patriots struggled with the Raiders. And if I'm not mistaken, that game was in New England. So Oakland, who historically travels east and plays terrible, they went into Foxborough and nearly beat the Patriots. So, if you're the Bengals, you're seeing that and you're thinking, okay, we got a shot. And we beat them a year ago. So why not us?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. And we also play Denver, but I don't like their chances. I don't like anybody's chances coming to Paul Brown Stadium. I've been there during games. It's not the loudest crowd. I have no idea what it is about that crowd, but when we are hyped, we are hyped. But there's nothing about the Cincinnati Paul Brown Stadium that speaks to like a 12th man. We're just not, because our fans are very fickle. There's just something about them playing at Paul Brown Stadium, which I think is funny, that we're one of the best home teams in the league, and I know for a fact that we don't have the best fans in the league.
Well, now that they're 3-0, they've answered a lot of the critics, and maybe they'll start selling out those games a little more easily. And to be fair, they're getting to the part in that home schedule where the opponent is a little bit more exciting on paper, I guess you could say. You look at Tennessee and you look at Atlanta, and you're not thinking to yourself, "Wow," you know what I mean? There's no that wow factor's not there. But when you got Denver coming to town, you got Baltimore coming to town, Pittsburgh coming to town, and of course the Browns coming to town too. I mean, that's all going to factor into it, and you're going to start to see a lot more sellouts, and hopefully the stadium gets even more loud.
Exactly. I just think that the Bengals, the offense is it's so crazy. The offense is literally the sky's the limit, because once you get Marvin Jones back, Sanu is proven to be a number one receiver in my mind. He can literally do it all, and just got great hands and he's very smart. And I just think once Marvin Jones comes back and not Tyler Eifert, I think we're going to be second best offense in the league with the best ranked defense in the league, and it's just going to be craziness, and the apocalypse is going to come, and America's going to be blown to bits and stuff like that.
I like your thinking, man. I like your thinking, Donovan.
All right, man. It was good calling in.
Hey, appreciate the call. Don't be a stranger, all right, bud?
Yep.
Hooday. That's Donovan on the Jungle Line giving us a ring. If you want to get in touch, the Jungle Line's open. 404-946-3397 is the number to call. I like that Donovan brings up, and many of you have brought it up today, the fact that this team is missing a lot of their weapons. This team is able to put points on the board and move the ball at will, minus Marvin Jones, minus Tyler Eifert. You got to give a little bit of credit today to the offensive line and Mike Pollock. How many times did you hear his name called? Almost none. And it wasn't until the end of the game when they showed the offensive line stats and they said, "Oh, there's that guy Pollock," and we haven't mentioned his name at all today, who did a fantastic job stepping into the shoes of Kevin Zeitler. And it's not every day that you can lose your first-round starting right guard and plug in a vet like Mike Pollock and come in and do a job, and he did a fantastic job today. And I think that just embodies everything about this team. Next man up. That's the philosophy they're going to have. The injuries are going to happen, and it just goes to show you the depth that this team has at almost every position group. And that's a huge amount of credit needs to go to Marvin Lewis and the front office staff, Duke Tobin as well, bringing in guys that can come in and play a solid backup role. Now, Vinny Ray isn't spectacular. He's no Vontaze Burfict, but he came in and did a job today. 4 tackles on the day. Your leading tackler on the day is George Iloka. He had 8. Carlos Dunlap had 6 tackles, and he had a sack as well. How about Darqueze Dennard getting his first sack in the NFL today? Nice job by him. You know, that's what I love about this team is that everybody, you know, they are contributing in their own way, and it's that next man up philosophy is fantastic. Now, we don't want these. I guess if you're going to get the injury bug, now's the time to do it. You don't want it happening in December and January, that's for sure. But it's just a lot of fun watching this team right now. They're playing fantastic football in all phases. In all phases. We saw Mike Nugent today. I wasn't happy with some of his kickoffs. But, you know, from a field goal perspective, he made up for what happened a week ago. So kudos to him. One thing I also want to bring up, and nobody's going to talk about this, but if you recall, I believe it was last October, Andy Dalton went out and he got hot, got on one of those hot streaks. And he went out in the month of October and won the AFC Offensive Player of the Month award. And we're coming into October. And he's always had a pretty good October if you look at his statistics. So that's also another good sign for the Bengals as they head into their bye week, and then they'll be playing in October against the New England Patriots. Let's go back to the jungle line, though. Area code 937. Hi, who's this?
Hey, what's up? This is Chris from Springfield. Who that?
Hey, Chris from Springfield. What's up, man?
Not much. I just want to pretty much just say that I give, you know, even though we was playing like a D-plus team, I still want to give us an A solid, you know, performance for today. I mean, we won on offense, defense, and special teams. I mean, like you was talking about Andy Dalton just a minute ago, he's like a field general out there. Like, he did everything that he had to do, even though he didn't go for a pass touchdown today. And that interception, that was just a fluke. That was lucky. So I don't really count that as an interception, really.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Chris. You know, it's also refreshing, too, as well. You know, historically, when the Bengals play the quote-unquote bad teams, it always seemed like they would either play down to their level or let them hang around. But today, I mean, they put their foot on the throat of the Titans and never really let go until the game was out of hand.
Right. I'm glad that we're coming out with this bye week though for the Patriots. I mean, we're gonna need everybody back 100% healthy. I mean, I know we won't have everybody back, but at least we get Perfect back, and hopefully AJ Green will have that toe problem figured out.
And I keep hearing rumors that they may have Marvin Jones back for that game.
Oh, yeah?
That'd be real nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because we definitely going to need him because we have more, like, down-the-field passes going on because they can't cover AJ and Marvin Jones at the same time. It's impossible. And plus, Andy Dalton, he's just being, like I said, a field general out there. He hasn't really had no bad passes except for that interception. That's just because, you know, Bernard, he's kind of like a little short guy, so he got to reach a little bit longer, you know. But, yeah, Uday, though, thank you for taking my call, though. I jumped back on the chat line.
All right, Chris, appreciate the call.
All right,
let's go back to the jungle line, though. Area code 513. Hi, who's this?
Hey, what's up, man? It's Mickey.
Mickey, what's up, dude?
Hey, I've been listening to the show, trying to call in. I'm busy.
I am busy. The phone line has been off the hook. I talked to a Travis from Virginia who just bought his first Bengals ticket today for that Steelers home game, and so he's pretty psyched, man.
I did hear that. He was deciding between that and the Tampa Bay game, and I think he made the right choice.
Yes, he did make the right choice. Hey, how about my bold prediction, man? I was pretty close.
I know. I went to the game with Mike Woodstock, and he was pumped for your shutout call.
So close, man. So close. I mean, this team is a lot of fun to watch. We had a feeling going into the season that they could be 3-0, but I didn't think they could do it in this dominating of fashion.
Seriously, it's been no question. Like every game, even when Baltimore took the lead, like I think that's the only part this entire season where we were like, uh-oh. But
and you know what else, Mickey, too? That's the only time that the Bengals have trailed this season.
Right, which is insane. I mean, we're going into our bye with, 2 minutes of game time trailing. Like, this is insane. This team is confident, and they're good.
Are you worried about what's going to happen over these next couple of weeks with all the national media attention that they're going to end up getting now and that maybe and I don't think I think they can go into New England and win, especially with you see what New England's already done this year. But are you concerned about that pedestal having them get put up so high and then what they always do?
No way, Nick. Who are you talking to?
I know.
I'm not buying any of that crap. You know what I mean? Like the team's going to be what the team is. It's not going to matter what they're ranked in some internet sites rankings. They're going to play the way they are. But I mean, I'm going to say it right now, and I know I'm going to catch heat for it. My man crush on Dalton just grew today. I mean, who catches a pass for a freaking touchdown? It kind of shoves the guy off and just dives in the end zone. Like, yeah, I'm doing that. That's that's NFL movie. That's not NFL game.
That was that was the luckiest of lucky I've ever seen with this Bengals team because if this was 10 years ago, Mickey, that ball's being intercepted and going the other way.
It floated up there. I'm not gonna lie. But Dalton kept his eyes on it, pulled it down, and did what he had to do.
And he took a hit.
Yes, he did. That was incredible.
This team is.
Buy another Dalton jersey.
You should buy another one. What color do you have? You got an orange one? Get an orange one.
Black. I got black.
Oh yeah. See, there you go. Get an orange one. All right. So what if you had to give a level of pumpedness on a 1 to 10? Are you like at a 15?
Yeah. No question. I mean that was just a buck kitchen. And that doesn't happen. I mean, you talk about NFL spreads, you talk about all that. They just own them. Like that game was never in question.
Nope. And we saw Andy Dalton throw the interception, which was kind of a fluke play as it was. But you got to give credit to the defense, though. They picked them up and they intercepted Locker there at the end of the first half.
That's right. I mean, I saw it. What better way to pick up your quarterback than to get the ball right back?
Yep. This team's on a roll, man. Have you ever seen a roll like this at home?
I can't. I mean, I'm trying to think of like 2005 where we started the season with like 5 turnovers in each game, but they were sloppier games. Like this is just domination.
Yeah, man. Teams they're coming into Paul Brown Stadium and struggling, and I'd like to think now that the people are able to see what this team's made of and see another 3-0 start. Maybe the ticket sales won't be an issue the rest of the way out.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I don't know. We've talked behind the scenes a little bit. I don't know if they're an issue as big of an issue as they say they are right now, but I would be surprised if they are a storyline going forward.
We will see. So I'm sure we'll talk to you Wednesday night for Inside the Jungle.
Absolutely, man. Looking forward to it.
All right, man. Hey, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, partner.
All right, you too. Later.
Later. That's Mickey giving us a ring here on the Jungle Line in the post-game show. Love hearing from him. He was at the game today. Absolutely pumped as he should be. This team is firing on all cylinders and playing some fantastic football. Just looking over the stats one last time before we head out of here. Again, if you want to get in touch, 404-946-3397 is the number to call. You look at the number of first downs today. Passing, they had 25 first downs. You look at the total number of plays. They only ran 57 plays to the Titans 64. The Titans actually outgained them. And yet the Bengals outscored them by 26. That just tells you what this defense is all about. Fantastic. Just an all-around, overall good performance. Again, the passing game wasn't spectacular, but it wasn't great, or it wasn't. It wasn't a detriment, that's for sure. Chris in the chat room says Nick Tate got some positive yards. Yes, he did. Brandon Tate. I love seeing him do well out there. And again, credit to Hugh Jackson for putting him in position to succeed. That's the important thing. Once again, the Bengals don't give up a sack today. That's 3 games now where Andy Dalton hasn't been sacked. You like that stat, that's for sure. A lot of question marks in the offseason when they drafted Bodine at center. Could he do the job? I think he's answered those critics so far here after 3 games. You like seeing your quarterback not touched. Unfortunately, they did have the 1 turnover today. But they were still plus. They were +1 in the turnover margin. And that tells you what you need to know right there. Anytime the Bengals are plus in that margin, it's almost lights out. This team is a lot of fun to watch. And I honestly can't think of a time where I've watched this team and been as excited as I am. 05 was a great year. 09 was fun to watch too. But you still had that lingering question in your head of whether or not this team was legit. I'm starting to drink the Kool-Aid and get excited for what this team can do, hopefully in the postseason. Hopefully. But this team is a lot of fun to watch. They're fun to watch at home. I can't think of a better stretch of games at home where they've been dominant like this and played well at home since maybe the '88 season. It's been awesome. It's been awesome. It's been, I know it's only 3 games. It's going to suck not having Bengals football next weekend, but in 2 weeks when they play the Patriots in prime time, that is going to be absolutely fantastic to watch. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Again, we'd love to hear your thoughts, Bengals fans. Feel free to email me insidethejungle@spnt.tv. You can follow me on Twitter as well. I'm at Nick Suberling. Let me know what you thought. Who was your MVP of today's game? There was a number of different candidates. If I had to give him an MVP, I'd give it to, I'm going to split it between Bernard and Hill. I know Bernard had the 2 touchdowns. He only had 47 yards of rushing. Hill had 39 yards rushing. But if I had to give it, I'll split it between Bernard and Hill. But there will be a massive test in 2 weeks. We will know where this team stands in the AFC and in the NFL when they go to Foxborough in a couple weeks, after the bye, after they get a rest, and after they hopefully get some guys back. We will know where this team stands here in October. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be exciting. We will see. Hopefully, we'll have some more word as far as some of the other injuries that occurred today. I know Marcus Hunt went down. There may be a chance that Marvin Jones can play in Foxborough. We shall see. Hopefully, Vontaze Burfict will be available. Hopefully, A.J. Green gets some rest as well. Mike Hudson's MVP, he's giving it to the secondary. Chris in the chat room says the defense. I like that. That's a solid choice as well, Chris. Samuel Turner says Dalton's his MVP. You can't argue that. He did have the 1 turnover, which was on a fluke, but he did get a touchdown catch. Chris Berrien also says MVP Dunlap. So does Fatal Content. Kenny Moore, MVP was A.J. Green for gaining 100 yards and playing hurt today. Yeah, and A.J. probably won't get enough credit for that today. He probably won't get enough credit for that today. I'm glad he played hurt. He did have the 100 yards receiving. Carlos Dunlap had 1 sack today, according to the stats. Fatal is also giving his MVP to Hugh and Gunther. This is quickly becoming an MVT, most valuable team. It was a team effort. It was a good team effort today by the Bengals as they win 33-7 over the Tennessee Titans, winning their 11th consecutive regular season game at Paul Brown Stadium, breaking the franchise record. So this team is breaking records already here early on in 2014. Again, love to hear your thoughts on the Bengals. If you're listening to the podcast, feel free to email me insidethejungle@SPNT. Follow me on Twitter at Nick Suberling. If you're listening to the podcast and you're listening live at Cincy Jungle and you want to download the podcast, you can download the show and subscribe in many ways. You can subscribe on iTunes. There's all kinds of other apps as well, whether you have an iPhone or an Android phone. You can check out Stitcher Smart Radio. That is something that's available on both platforms. And if you subscribe, you'll automatically get the shows downloaded to your mobile device, so you won't miss a single episode of Inside the Jungle. You get the regular show on Wednesday night as well as the post-game show. Before we get out of here, area code 703. Hi, who's this?
Hi, this is Richard from Virginia.
Hey, what's up, Rich? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It was a great game. Awesome game. And I just wanted to call in and give my MVP. I heard you talking about it. I thought you gave some good choices, like what other people are saying. But I wanted to say A.J. Green was mine because I thought the first throw and catch that Dalton did to him was like 15 yards. I thought it just set the tone for the game. I thought, he came to play and the rest of the team then just followed through.
Yeah, you're right. It did set the tone in it. I'll be honest, Rich. Every time the ball was thrown to him and he made a catch when he was tackled, I just held my breath because I didn't want to see him get up
one
and.
time he was limping up, but yeah, he had a great game. I'm glad they were able to take him out, let him rest at the end of the game, and yeah, the bye week I wasn't happy when I saw it, but this year it's working out for them. Hopefully we won't need it later.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But you know what? They're on a roll, and this will be a good test. And now they get 2 weeks to prepare for a pretty good New England team, and this might be beneficial for them.
A pretty good New England team, though, that had a lot of trouble against Oakland with a rookie quarterback, so they're not invincible.
Nope. And the Bengals showed a year ago they can beat them.
Yes. So, anyways, thanks for doing the after show. Really appreciate. I really love it, and talk to you on Wednesday.
All right, Richard. We'll talk to you Wednesday. Who day, man?
Who day?
Love talking to Bengals fans from around the globe and around the country. You guys are fantastic. Again, as I mentioned before, you could subscribe to the show. Check us out on iTunes. If you listen on iTunes, a review would be fantastic. Just do a keyword search Inside the Jungle on iTunes. And if you subscribe to the show, you'll automatically get the episodes downloaded to your device, so you won't miss a single episode of Inside the Jungle. Again, as I mentioned, the email address to get in touch with us, insidethejungle@spnt.tv, and follow me on Twitter as well, at Nick Suberling. That's going to do it for our post-game coverage here at CincyJungle.com. Inside the Jungle is an SPNT production. For more information about our other podcasts, log on to spnt.tv. Special thanks to my associate producers, Andy Lanham, Larry Rolson, Mike Barty, and Chris Sevens. We'll see y'all Wednesday night. Check out CincyJungle.com for all the latest Bengals news and updates. I'm Subes. Bengals are 3-0. How's that feel? Hooray!